Hello and welcome to my presentation. I am Angelica Ramos Mendoza and I am your reporter for today. So let's get started. Today we will be discussing enhancing charts on MS Excel to make your charts to the next level. First is to pick the right graph. Before you start tweaking design elements, you need to know that your data is displayed in the optimal format. Bar, pie, and line charts all tell different stories about your data. You need to choose the best one to tell the story you want. Bar graphs and pie graphs help you compare categories. Pie graphs usually compare parts of a whole, while bar graphs can compare pretty much anything, which means it's often best to just choose a bar graph. Bar graphs are easier to read and highlight incremental differences between categories, so they're a good go-to. While pie graphs are best used when one of the categories is way larger than the other. So here's an example of the same data set displayed as a pie graph and a bar graph. So line charts, which look like kind of like a horizontal version of bar charts, help you design or display a changing trend over time. You can track multiple values over that time, but the key to a line chart is the time component. So to turn your data into one of these charts in Excel, highlight the data you want to morph into a chart, then choose charts in the top navigation or select insert, then charts if you have a different version. Then choose the chart most appropriate for your data. So the second one is to sort bar graph data, so it's intuitive. So what does it mean? So if you're using a bar graph to display your data, this tip can make a big difference. Most bar graphs look like in the first picture. They're kinda random. You spend just a fraction of a second too long figuring out which ones are outliers. But if you want your chart to be organized, like in the second picture, you should reorder your data points to go from largest to smallest. If your bar graph is horizontal, larger values should be at the top. If your bar graph is vertical, order them from left to right. Why? That's how people read English. If you're presenting this data in another language where that isn't true, change up your order to better reflect reading patterns. So to order the graphs in Excel, you'll need to sort the data from largest to smallest. Click Data, choose Sort, and select how you'd like to sort everything. So for the next one is short and y-axis labels. Long y-axis labels, like larger number of values, take up a lot of space and can look a little messy, like in the chart shown in my PowerPoint presentation. To shorten them, right-click one of the labels on the y-axis and choose a Format Axis from the menu that appears. Choose Number from the left-hand side, then Custom from the category list. Deselect Link to Source if it's selected, otherwise you won't be able to click Custom. So then after that, enter the custom format code, which is $0, /m as shown below, and click OK to close. The resulting graph will look much cleaner. So for the next one is remove background lines. Graphs allow you to roughly compare data within a set, not dig into it. No one's looking at your graph to see incremental differences between data points. They want to see general overarching trends. To help people focus on those trends, remove the lines in the background of your graph or chart. These lines are superfluous, unhelpful, and distracting. Cut them from your graph to help people focus on big takeaways. So to remove background lines, choose Chart Layout, then grid lines, then choose No Grid Lines under horizontal and vertical options. So for the next one is remove default line margins. Unless you remove them from your line charts, Excel will automatically add margins before the first data point and after the last data point. As you can see on the left in the image below, But as you can see on the right, line charts often look better without these margins. So to remove these margins, double-click on the date axis and the format axis window will pop up. Under axis options, change position axis to on tick marks. And there you will have a much better look of your line charts. So for the next one is to remove unnecessary styling. Most standard Excel graphs come pre-styled, but these styles will often get in the way of communicating information. Shadows, outlines, rotations, get rid of them all. They don't add to the data's story. To fix the styling in Excel, right-click on the graph and choose Format Chart Area. Remove all extra and unnecessary effects on your data to look much professional and much cleaner. Next is delete the legend if it's not necessary. Legends tell you the information you can read easily on the graph. If you have a ton of x-axis categories or multiple data points per category, then using legends makes sense. But if you're only comparing a few data points, they can be pretty useless. So if that's the case, just delete the legend altogether. To delete a legend in Excel, you can just double click on the legend text box, then hit delete on your keyboard. So for the next one is to include branded colors. So the colors that come preset in Excel are pretty drab. One quick way to spruce them up is to make them your brand's colors. It's a little detail that will make your charts look sleek and clean. To ensure you're always using the proper brand colors, you'll need to grab the hex color code of your brand's colors. Then plop that code into this hex, then RGB color converter. In Excel, double-click on the parts of your graph you'd like to change the color of. Under Fill, choose Color and then More Colors. In the pop-up window, select the second icon from the left with the sliders. See that little drop-down, choose RGB sliders, then input the RGB numbers you found in the beginning, and then voila! Perfectly on brand colors and a gorgeous graph. So, do you ever seen a line chart with a shaded area below the line? They can make your line chart stand out. To add in that shaded area, you have to trick Excel by adding another data series. To do it, go back to the table in Excel you used to create the line chart and highlight the data points that make up the y-axis. In this case, the dollar amount. Then copy and paste it to the row below so there are two identical data series. So the next step is highlight the data values only of the two identical data series, not including the labels. Below this area is highlighted in blue. And then a line of a different color, in this case red is the color, will appear on top of our original line on the chart. Click the line to select it, then right click and choose Change Series Chart Type from the drop down menu. And then in the menu that appears, choose the first type under the area category. Your new line chart will look something like this. So the next is double click the shaded area on the chart. In this case, the red area, and a Format Data Series menu will appear. Click on Fill from the left hand side and choose Solid Fill. Under Fill Color, choose the same color as the line in the chart. You can change the transparency to whatever you'd like. The best transparency is 66%. So then after that is under border color, choose solid fill. Under fill color, choose the same color as the line in the chart, and then change your transparency to the same transparency as the border color's transparency. And here you have it. That's all for our presentation. Thank you very much and have a nice day.